My Little Pony, The Ghost Rider. By Big Imagination. Chapter 1, Princess Missing. It was a dark and cold night in Canterlot and all the residents were fall asleep. But then an eerie being covered in shadow was walking towards the castle, causing every light to explode. No one could hear him, as for some reason he was being so quiet that he tried to always cover his tracks so no one can catch him. He arrived at the castle gates and took off his hood, revealing a man with pale skin and black hair. Yes. The place where that Sun Princess lives? She will make a good slave and queen when I obtain the contract of San Venganza, he said. He turned into dark mist and quietly snuck his way in the castle. Then he looked around, seeing if there were any guards on patrol. There was a few, but this man was clever that he used some dark magic to give them a serious sickly curse on them, and they began coughing up blood. He then walked his way into the throne room, and it was quiet and dark in there. A little too colorful for my taste. But no matter. I just need to find the princess, and once I take her soul and the contract of San Venganza, the universe will be plunged into darkness. He smirked. He then went up the stairs and found the door to her bedroom. He quietly opened it and snuck in. He then saw a female pony sleeping, but also having a nightmare. She has a white coat and wings, her mane and tail is striped of pink, purple, aqua blue, and green with sparkles around. Her eyes are light grayish magenta. She wears a golden crown with a purple gem on it, a golden necklace also with a purple gem on it, wears golden hoof shoes, and also has a sun-based cutie mark. The man smiled heavily, and when she woke up she freaked a little. She was Princess Celestia. "Hello, little princess. I hope I didn't disturb your slumber," he said. "Who are you? And what are you doing in my castle?" Celestia demanded. "Oh, where are my manners? I am Blackheart, the son of the devil himself, and soon to be ruler of the universe. And you, my dear, have the privilege of being my queen once I take the contract of San Venganza. I will never be your queen. Get out before I alert my guards," Celestia warned. But Blackheart smirked. "I don't think so. Your guards are a little out of commission for the moment. And I highly suggest you reconsider. Otherwise, it will cost them their souls," Blackheart said as his voice became more demonic. Then demon shadows began appearing, and Celestia tried using her magic to kill them, but they were immune. And all she could do is scream in terror as Blackheart and his minions came closer as the screen turns black. And so the next day we see 6 ponies, known as the main 6, all together, make many remarkable adventures and fought against dangerous adversaries. And at a sudden moment, she became a princess after learning the true meaning of friendship. She even visited a different world and saved it from danger. At some moments, she had problems, but her friends were always there to support her. Hasbro Studios presents A Big Imagination e-story. Tara Strong, Ashley Ball, Andrea Libman, Tabitha St. Germain, Kathy Westlake, Matt Long, Nicolas Cage, Wes Bentley, and so much more. My Little Pony, The Ghost Rider. But nothing could prepare the main 6 for what's about to happen to them. Anywho, they were all enjoying a nice picnic in the park and loving each other's company. "Oh, the weather is simply gorgeous, darling." "Absolutely gorgeous." Rarity smiled. "Yes. It is a beautiful day for all of us to have a picnic in the park. And knowing Princess Celestia, she would love to join us for this." Twilight agreed. "Say, girls, where is Princess Celestia? Didn't she say that she needed us for something important for the Stargaze Festival later on?" Fluttershy wondered. "Yeah. And come to think of it, we haven't heard from her for 3 weeks now," Rainbow added. Then suddenly Spike, their noble dragon, belched up a message. He looked at the scroll and opened it to see who it was from. But he got a huge shocked look on his face when he read it. Girls. The letter's from Luna. She wants us to meet her in Canterlot. Celestia is missing. Spike panicked. What? The girls said in unison. They all headed for the train station and quickly made their way to Canterlot. Whatever Luna told them in the letter must be really important. They arrived and in the throne room they saw Luna, who had a worried look on her face. Luna. We came as fast as we could. What happened? Twilight asked. It's horrible, Twilight. Last night one of my night guards told me that someone broke in the castle and kidnapped my sister. Luna answered. Everyone gasped hearing that. Celestia has been kidnapped. By who? Fluttershy squeaked in fear. No one knows who. But from his appearance I sensed an evil dark power inside him. He said that he claims to be the son of the devil. And he's threatening Celestia to be his queen. Luna said. Why, that no good rat? Tell where he is and I will bash his skull open. Rainbow replied. You can't possibly think that you are going to fight him like this. He left some of Celestia's guards coughing up blood and he summoned shadows to take her with him. If you think you can stop him with your magic, then you're wrong. Because his power is far stronger. Luna reasoned. Luna, we can't let that guy, whoever he is, just take Celestia. We need to know where he is and save her. Can you tell us? Twilight asked. Luna didn't want to put Twilight and her friends in danger, but at the same time they do need to save Celestia. So she sighed and made her choice. All right. I will tell you where he will be later. I overheard him saying that he's trying to get a contract of San Venganza. My guess that he's gonna head there later. Luna theorized. What does he want a contract for? Maybe to invite people to a party. Pinky asked. Pinky? Really? That's your opinion? Rainbow asked, annoyed. What? He could. Pinky defended. No. From the way he kidnapped my sister, he is not in a mood for a party. I sense that whatever reason he has gaining the contract is also the reason why he took Celestia. Twilight. You and your friends must travel to Earth and seek him out. Stop whatever it is he's planning and bring Celestia home safe. Okay. Luna asked. Don't worry, Luna. We will save Celestia and stop whatever it is he's planning. Twilight said with confidence. For your sake, I hope so. Take the elements with you and be prepared. The son of the devil will not be a walk in the park. He is dangerous and possesses dark magic. Be careful. And good luck. Luna warned. So everyone left and began preparing for their mission. We see every pony went to their homes and prepared themselves for their mission. Rainbow Dash was training a little bit before she prepared her backpack. Fluttershy also prepared her backpack and comforted her animal friends. Angel wanted to go with her. She wanted him to stay in her cottage, but he insisted to help her on her journey. And with a sigh, she accepted it. Applejack began to prepare herself with help from her family, but they had a worried look on their faces. Her family weren't the only ones who were worried, it was every pony that was close with the main six, family and friends. Pinkie Pie prepared her bags and also took some sweets. She comforted the Cake family and gave sweet kisses on the foreheads of the two babies before she went to the rock farm to tell the news. Rarity prepared her backpack, she comforted her family and little sister. And Twilight was most of all prepared, she took a spell book and a few other books. And Spike, of course, wanted to go with her. She could need his help just like those other times when she went to Earth. They met back at the mirror in Twilight's castle and were ready. Okay girls. This is it. We have to save Celestia and stop the guy who kidnapped her. Are you ready? Twilight asked. Yes. Now we're gonna fight an evil maniac and save the princess. Rainbow Dash said. As horrifying as this all is, I must agree with Rainbow Dash. Rarity said. I think I might be ready for this. Fluttershy said shyly. I'm prepared for everything. Pinkie said, being dressed as a soldier with stripes on her face. It sounds mighty dangerous, but I won't break my promise to my family. Applejack said. Yeah, I always wanted to fight against an evil being from another world. Spike said. Spike. This won't be like the time we went in the comic. This evil being is far more dangerous from what Luna told us. He has dark magic and can be deadly if we're not careful. Twilight told him. She's right. But now that we're all ready, let's go save the princess. Rarity declared. To Earth. Twilight shouted and a bright light surrounded them. After a few seconds, they disappeared. And this begins their journey to save Celestia and stop the son of the devil before he spreads what kinds of chaos through the universe. Chapter 2 Meeting the Blazes. The portal opened up and we see the main six come out and landed somewhere in a carnival. Now Pinky, known for being the element of laughter, loved being in carnivals. Oh. A carnival. I love carnivals. Pinky said. Pinky. Now is not the time for fun and games. We need to know where the princess is and save her. But first, we should look around, Twilight replied. Yeah. Besides, we could have landed somewhere worse. Spike added. The girls were glad that they didn't. And so they took their human disguises so they can blend in and went to the tent. In there they saw something, or should I say someone, on a motorcycle. As the ring lit itself on fire. Ladies and gentlemen. The amazing, blazing stunt cycle spectacular. Then not one but two people rode their motorbikes and went through the ring of fire like it was nothing. Then the crowd cheered, seeing a wonderful performance. How about a big round of applause for Barton and Johnny Blaze? Let's hear it for them, folks. The guy known as Johnny Blaze rode his bike, giving the fans a wonderful sight to see. He might have lost his balance a little, but he managed to control it. Then his dad Barton shook his head and the two left. The girls were stunned seeing his show and the way they rode them. Wow! Those guys were so awesome. We gotta go talk to them. Rainbow beamed. Okay. But I seriously cannot imagine why they do that dangerous stunt. Rarity said. Come on, Rares. They obviously want the fans excited and see something extreme. Let's go talk to them. Rainbow retorted. So they all went in the direction the boys went. Outside the tent we see the Blazes taking their bikes away from the tent and heading home. You're a hotshot, ain't you, boy? Young, think you know everything there is to know. When you do things without thinking, you ain't making the choice is making you. Barton said. I was just doing it for the crowd. Johnny replied. We both know why you done it. Barton said as he gave, coughing a little. You think she's gonna stand by you when you're in a wheelchair? Huh, hotshot. Johnny didn't know how to respond to that as his dad left to put his bike in the shop. Then at the same time the girls came and he saw them. Hey. We saw your show. That was a hell of a performance you did. Rainbow replied. Thanks. Who are you ladies? I don't remember seeing you around here before. Johnny asked. Oh, sorry sir. I'm Twilight Sparkle. I'm Rainbow Dash. I'm Pinkie Pie. I am Rarity. Howdy boy. I'm Applejack. And what's your name, miss? Johnny asked Fluttershy. I'm Fluttershy. She said quietly. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Come again. Johnny asked. It's Fluttershy. She squeaked. I still can't hear you. Can you speak up? Johnny asked. Sorry about that. Her name's Fluttershy. She's a little shy around new people. Hope there's no trouble. Twilight hoped. Nah. Y'all are good. And what's the dude's name? Johnny wondered. And I'm Spike. And you are? Name's Johnny Blaze. The daredevil motorbiker. And proud of it? He answered. Nice to meet you, Johnny Blaze. I was wondering if you were able to give us a hand. See, we're trying to look for someone and we can use all the help we need. Twilight replied. You seem like a friendly group. Tell you what. Come with me to the spot where I'm meeting Roxanne and then I'll see if my dad will let you stay with us for the time being. Johnny suggested. We really appreciate that, Johnny. Fluttershy said. So Johnny led them all to the spot he was meeting Roxanne and he carved a message in the tree saying Johnny and Roxanne forever. Then he sat down next to Roxanne and tried getting her attention politely. Hey. What's wrong, Roxy? Johnny asked. Roxanne took a deep breath and prepared to tell Johnny what she was thinking. I'm leaving, she said. You're leaving? Even though we just met you? Rarity asked. I know it sounds too early, Rarity. But my dad's sending me to live with my mom. Roxanne answered. When exactly will that be? Twilight wondered. Soon. What about us? Johnny asked. He says you're not good enough for me. That you're just a phase. Roxanne replied. Is he overprotective and bitchy much? Rainbow asked. Something like that. Wish he can accept my decisions. So, what are we gonna do, Johnny? Roxanne admitted. We'll leave. We'll jump on the bike and just keep going. Johnny replied. But Johnny darling? What about your dad? And the show? Rarity asked. He doesn't need me. He doesn't need anybody. Tomorrow noon. We'll meet here. Johnny said. Wait. You said you'll help us get settled in. Pinky yelled. I did, Pinky. And I still will, okay? I just want a bright future for my girl. Johnny said. And like that the two kissed in the light and Rarity squealed a little seeing such romance. Then Johnny told Roxanne goodbye and the girls followed him behind. Afterwards they met Barton and Johnny explained that they need a place to stay and he agreed on one condition. The condition was that he would keep an eye on them. In the House of the Blazes, Johnny quietly helped the girls get in and he walked to where his father is sleeping. Then he silently took a photo album and saw all the memories of him when he was a little boy and the girls smiled. While they were looking at the pictures, Johnny took away the box of cigarettes and threw them away. He then went back to the group. Was that you when you're little? Applejack asked. Yeah. That's me. Oh, it's been quite a journey for me to become a daredevil motorbiker. Johnny smiled. Hey Johnny. What's this paper doing in the trash? It seems to be important. Twilight asked, taking a piece of paper out of the bin. Johnny took the paper and looked at it. That did not bring a smile to his face as it read that the cancer is spreading and since Johnny lost his mom he really didn't want to lose his dad. So he needed to come clean with his new friends. Twilight. Girls. Spike. There's something you should know. My dad is sick with cancer. And as for my mom, she passed away. Johnny said as everyone gasped. After approximately 10 years had passed, and suffering from a terminal illness, Mom couldn't continue and died. And Dad is all I have left. I'm so sorry to hear that, Johnny. Were you and your mom close? Spike asked. Something like that. But there's nothing I can do about it. Except for helping you find your missing person. Come on. I need to go get my bike a few adjustments. Johnny replied. The girls nodded and followed Johnny back to the circus tent. But what they didn't know is that a mysterious being was watching them through the window. And he wasn't gonna stand for that. Chapter 3: A Deal with the Devil. Night came in and the clouds were rumbling, meaning it was gonna rain later. In the tent we see Johnny and the gang helping him adjust a few things on his bike. Even Spike decided to help them by giving it a new paint job. Then outside the tent a man with a cane came walking to the tent as the lights exploded and short-circuited when he passed. He arrived at the tent and saw the group. Johnny Blaze. The man said as everyone turned to him. Yeah. Caught your show today. Just wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed watching you ride. He replied. Oh, thanks. Johnny said. Excuse me, sir? But how did you know his name? Twilight asked. Why, I'm a fan of him. The man then looked over toward the main six and Spike. Though I must admit, I was not counting on the elements of harmony to drop in unannounced. All eyes, from Spike and the girls, went wide upon hearing that. You know who we are? Twilight questioned. Oh yes. And as for Johnny, perhaps he'd ride for me one day. The man answered. You run a show? Johnny asked. Greatest show on earth. The man said. The thunder boomed as we see the cane he was carrying had a skull on it. The girls were a little unsure about him. How he knows their names was a surprise. He really appreciates the offer, but he's with us. So no thank you. Twilight politely said. Plus we don't know who you are. Fluttershy said. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive my manners. I am Mephistopheles. And I also know much more than your names. Nothing happens that I do not know about. I believe you can show me your true selves now. The main six and Spike looked back and forth between one another, then to Johnny and the man who seemed to know who they were. With a reluctant sigh, Twilight closed her eyes as her magic began to envelop them all. Once cleared, they once more assumed their equine and dragon forms respectively, and the man smiled with satisfaction. Much better, he said. Johnny, meanwhile, stood shocked and confused. Just when you think you've seen it all, he mumbled. So you know about us, but we know nothing about you, Twilight told the man. You wouldn't have. Now I know why you're here. Johnny is worried about his father. And you six along with Spike are looking for your beloved princess. Mephistopheles said. They all were in shock when he said that. What do you know about that? Johnny asked. And how do you know about our mission? Rainbow wondered. Even a blind man could see he's sick. Thing about cancer is the time it takes, the toll on the loved ones. And as for your mission, I know exactly who took your princess. Johnny. Girls. What if I could help you? By healing your dad and revealing the name of the kidnapper that took Celestia. Mephistopheles offered. Yeah? How? Johnny asked. And how would you know about the kidnapper? Twilight wondered. How is not important. What if I could make him better? Give him back his health. And you girls shall have the name of your princess's kidnapper so you can destroy him and return home to Equestria. Would you all be willing to make a deal? Mephistopheles asked. Everyone was definitely shocked. How can this man know so much about the main six when they just met him? And yet he's willing a deal to them to help them all get what they want. They wanted answers from him, but it was not the time for questions right now. Well, if you really think you can help us out, then we pretty much don't have a choice. Do we? Spike asked. I'm afraid not, young dragon. Mephistopheles answered. Name your price. Johnny said. I will take your souls. Mephistopheles replied. That made them uncomfortable. Then they faced him away to discuss this as group. Okay, who the heck is this guy? The devil? And how does he know the mission that Celestia is kidnapped? Rarity worried. I don't know how he knows all this. But if he's willing to help us, then we shouldn't reject his offer. Besides, he said he'll reveal the name of the kidnapper that took Celestia. So we gotta at least try. Twilight said. I don't know, Chui. That guy may be creepy, but something about him feels off. Applejack said, unsure. I understand that. But we need Celestia back. And we'll need all the help we can get. Twilight replied. The girls sighed and faced him once more. Okay, sir. If you think you can help us out, then you have a deal. Twilight replied. Wonderful. By sunrise tomorrow, Johnny's father will be healthy as a horse. and I will seek the being of the kidnapper that took Celestia and reveal his name to you. Mephistopheles said as he took out a scroll. All you have to do is sign this. Johnny took the scroll and read everything that said on the contract. The girls read it too, and Johnny's finger got cut and he winced as a drop of blood landed on the signature line. Twilight went to check on him and suddenly she cut her finger too and her blood was on the line. Oh, that'll do just fine, Mephistopheles said as he took the contract and his eyes glowed orange. The next morning everyone woke up all shocked and scared in Johnny's bedroom. What, this all just a dream? Johnny then clutched his head as he felt a little pain coming. The girls then shook their heads as they tried to wake up. Then Barton came in and was feeling like his old self again. Good morning, sleeping beauties, Barton said. Dad? You look, Johnny started. Great, right? Least that's what the doc said when he looked at my x-rays this morning, Barton finished. What are you talking about? How are you cured suddenly? Rarity asked. I been sick, girl. When I finally get up the nerve to tell you all about it, I'm not anymore. I can't really explain it. But I feel healthy as a horse. Now, come on, hotshot. I got a show to do. Now, get my bike ready. Don't wanna keep those people waiting, Barton said as he walked out the door. The girls couldn't believe it. Johnny's dad was cured. Maybe that deal they made with Mephistopheles was for real. Maybe the deal really was for real, Spike said. I guess. But I still think that something is off with that Mephistopheles guy. Something tells me there's more to that deal we made, Applejack added. They couldn't argue with that. So they decided to keep an eye on things. Now at the circus tent they see Barton getting ready to do his show. Ladies and gentlemen, Barton Blaze. The crowd cheered for him as he rode his bike. But Mephistopheles was watching and for some reason made Barton trip and get hurt in the fire ring. The crowd gasped and Johnny and the gang saw him in his state and ran to him. Ladies and gentlemen, head for the exits. Please stay calm. Oh my God. Barton. Are you okay? Spike asked. Dad? Dad, it's all right, we're here. We're here, it's gonna be okay, Johnny said. But Barton could barely talk. He was injured so bad that his life was taken away, and when he took his last breath he died. The girls gasped and Johnny tried waking him up, but it was no use. Then they all heard Mephistopheles laughing demonic and disappeared. That brought angry faces on them as they decided to seek him out. With Johnny riding his motorcycle with Spike riding with him and the girls following, they all tried seeking out Mephistopheles. Then suddenly they saw him appear and gave them quite a scare as Johnny and Spike fell off the bike and the girls screamed and fell on the road. Mephistopheles saw their reaction and slammed his cane down to wake them up. You're all no good to me, dead, Mephistopheles said. The group slowly got back on their feet and hooves and stared at him so angry. You killed him, Johnny said. I knew there was something suspicious about you. Why did you kill him? Applejack demanded. I cured his cancer. That was the deal. But I couldn't let him come between us, Mephistopheles explained. You monster. You son of a bitch. We shouldn't have trusted you. Now you'll pay for this, Rainbow shouted. Johnny and Rainbow along with everyone else trying attacking him. But no matter what they did, he dodged all their moves. It was almost like he studied them carefully. Then they faced him once more. It's no use fighting me. Besides, you still want the name of the kidnapper? Mephistopheles asked. Forget it. We want out of the deal. And we'll find the guy ourselves, Rarity demanded. I'm afraid I can't do that. You made the deal and now you're stuck with it. Now hear this. One day when I need all of you I will come. And when I arrive the name of the kidnapper that took Celestia shall be revealed. That I promise. Until then I'll be watching. Mephistopheles said as he placed his hand on Johnny, taking his soul. Forget about friends. Well, except the main six and Spike, since they need their princess. Forget about family. Forget about love. You're all mine, Johnny Blaze. He tapped him on the shoulder and he disappeared. Johnny gasped as he got up, and the girls were all panicky. They couldn't see him anymore. And now what were the main six, Spike and Johnny, gonna do? Chapter 4: Mr. Invincible and Blackheart's arrival. The rain began coming down, and Johnny along with Spike and the main six came to where Roxanne was. But then Johnny didn't want to leave her in the rain. But for the sake of the main six and Spike to find their princess, he must. So they took off and kept on riding, flying and running. Johnny felt really bad for leaving her there. Then we cut to a few years later, seeing him all grown up and a different man. You can't live in fear. You can live in fear, Johnny thought. Then suddenly he was brought out of his thoughts and he gave everyone the attention and rode his bike, jumping over lots of semi-trucks. But suddenly the thoughts returned to him and caused him to crash hard on the ground and injured himself. Everyone gasped, and even the girls and Spike went with the crew to see if he was okay. Johnny, are you okay? You could have died. Spike yelled. Oh God. Oh my God. JB. One of the crew said. He took off the helmet and tried getting him to wake up to see if he's okay. JB. Talk to us, man. He said. Johnny. Please wake up. We don't want you to die. Rarity cried. Then suddenly they all saw Johnny wake up, and to their relief he didn't die. Heck, is the bike okay? Forget about the bike. What about you? You could have been killed. Rainbow yelled. Rainbow. Calm the hell down. But yeah, the bike's fine. Another crew member said. Thank you, Johnny said as a crew member puts on his shades. Let's go home, Max said. Let's hear for it, folks. The amazing Johnny Blaze. Everyone cheered super loud for him as everyone carried him back to the trailer and off they went. They were heading into Texas for the next show, but it was still raining. Then in the trailer we see the crew playing cards, having a smoke and a few beers. Even one was playing a video game. The main six and Spike were tagging along and still worried about Celestia. Come on. Come on. Get the front end down. Damn it. Mac complained. Blaze is down. Have you tried not crashing? Johnny asked. Have you? Mac asked back. He has you there, Johnny. Spike agreed. He could only chuckle, and Mac went to get a beer. Why don't you have a beer and relax like everybody else, huh? Heck asked. You know alcohol gives me nightmares, Johnny said. Oh boy. What about you gals? Wanna have a cold one? Heck asked the main six and Spike. Thanks, but no. We normally don't drink liquor, Twilight politely said. To each its own, Mac replied. He then began flipping through the TV to see what shows there were to watch. He then stopped at a show where different motorcycle stunts are performed. Oh wait. Could you go back? There's a howler monkey special on Discovery Channel tonight, Johnny asked. Guys, hey. Heck said, getting their attention at the TV. We've seen big moves and crashes. But ask these riders who it is they look up to, and the answer's a man who's not even competing here, Johnny Blaze. The TV said. Yeah. Because he's right here. Mac cheered. The greatest stunt devil of all time, but what we don't know is how much longer can Blaze cheat death. The TV continued. Put the monkey show on, Johnny replied. Wait. I wanna hear this, Johnny, Spike said. See? Spikester here wants to hear. Mac smiled. Mac. The monkey show, Johnny said, starting to get annoyed. Can you wait till after we hear this? Be patient, Rainbow asked. They call him Mr. Invincible, and he'll have to be at his next jump when Johnny Blaze will attempt to clear the length of a football field from field goal to field goal. The TV finished and Mac turned it off. Everyone gave Johnny the looks on his face and he was confused. What? The crew continued their game but Mac needed to tell Johnny something. What? You should be taking a dirt nap after that rag doll today. Mac replied. Guess I got lucky. Johnny said. No, I got a hunting dog named Lucky. He's got one eye and no nuts. Luck don't cover it, JB. Man, you got an angel looking after you. Mac said. I hope your dog is okay. Fluttershy worried. He's fine. Ladies. I appreciate the fact you are looking after JB. And hey. Maybe a little relaxation is what you girls need. Get your minds off things. Mac replied. Yeah. Maybe we do. Twilight admitted. Hey Mac. You in? A crew member asked. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in. Hey Spikester. Wanna play some cards with us? Mac offered. Sure. It definitely will take my mind off everything. Spike answered. All right, come join. Mac said. So Mac and Spike went to the table and began playing. Then we see the trailer drive away as we zoom to the deepest parts of Texas where it was still raining but suddenly turned into fire drops. Then out of the shadows was the same man carrying a tied-up Princess Celestia while she was panicking in fear. Blackheart had arrived. We cut to a saloon seeing a man outside and a woman handing him a beer. Here you go. She said. It took you long enough. The biker man replied. He took the beer and gulped it down his throat. But then for some reason it began to freeze. Then he saw Blackheart and Celestia coming by. I think you might be lost, boy. Angels only in there. And I think this woman would love to be with someone else besides you. The biker man said. Angels? Really? Blackheart asked. Yeah, really? The biker man growled, grabbing him. You got a problem with that? As a matter of fact. Blackheart said as he placed his finger on him, causing the body to rot and turn into a skeleton. Celestia could only look in fear seeing this horror. I do. He took off the bandana around Celestia's mouth so she could speak. You heartless monster. When Twilight and her friends find you, you'll regret everything you did to those people. Celestia yelled. Is that what you think? They better think again because they are in for a real world of darkness once I take control. And you are gonna be beside me. Blackheart smirked. No. I will not be your queen. Now let me go. Celestia demanded. I don't think so. The groom should never leave his bride. Blackheart replied. After that he tied the bandana back on her mouth and grabbed Celestia and they made their way in the saloon. This is only trouble for Celestia. Chapter 5 Johnny's Home and Blackheart's Plan. Back with Johnny and the gang, they were arriving at his home. It was in a different part of Texas and in a wild part nonetheless. Yep. Love your neighborhood, Johnny. You joined the homeowners association yet? Mac asked. I don't think he will under the state he's in. And plus remember why we are here, girls. Twilight replied. We know, Chui. To find the guy that kidnapped Princess Celestia. Applejack said. She nodded as they got the message loud and clear. Then they all arrived in Johnny's place and went inside to see that it had lots of motorcycles. Oh, I see you still haven't gotten a lock for your lift. That's great. Great. You've got a lot of expensive bikes in here, I told you. How many times? Well, JB, I said it before, I'll say it again, this place could use a woman's touch. Mac replied. Clearly. This place is nice but definitely needs a makeover. Rarity said. So could you too. Johnny replied. Heard that. Mac said as he placed the bike in place. All right, 4 out of 5. Wreck one more and you get the whole set. Then Twilight and Mac both saw the books that were scattered. Now Twilight was all for one when it comes to books. Well, I'm glad to see you found use for your books. Mac replied. Johnny. Can't you place them on a shelf? Mac, can I see that book? Twilight asked. Sure. He gave Twilight the book and she began looking through. You want some jellies? Johnny asked. No. I don't want none of your stupid candy. Mac answered. I want to talk to you about something kind of serious. Twilight looked at the page and saw some kind of creature and was starting to get worried. I'm trying to relax, Mac. Like you said. Johnny said. Yeah, I understand. All right. It's just gonna take a second. Mac assured. Then Johnny sat on the couch and began watching some TV. But Twilight was still looking through the book while the others joined her. It's about you jumping on the anniversary of your dad's accident. Mac started. But Johnny wasn't listening. Can I just turn this music off for a minute? This is seriously something we need to discuss. This jump, man, Mac continued. But Johnny still wasn't listening, so he turned off the TV so he can get his full attention. Mac, you touch the Carpenters or that chimp video again and we got a scrap on our hands. Johnny said. This jump is nuts. All right, man. I mean, field goal to field goal, and now you're adding cars? I mean, what are you trying to prove? Mac asked. That it's me. Johnny answered. It's you. Riding the bike. Of course it's you, man. Who the hell else is it gonna be? You know what, you're freaking me out. You're freaking me out because you're reading this comparative exponential religiously crap. It's getting in your brain. I mean, what is going on, man? And plus I talked to Rainbow earlier and not even she would do something like that. Mac told him. Do you believe people get second chances? Johnny asked. I don't know. Mac said. If somebody makes a mistake, a big mistake, do you think that person should have to pay for it every day for the rest of their lives? Johnny wondered. Are you talking about your daddy's accident? Fluttershy asked. 'Cause if you are, then I understand you're upset, but you need to relax a bit. See? Exactly what Fluttershy said. Mac agreed. I'm just looking for a sign. Johnny said. What kind of sign are you looking for? Applejack wondered. That I can take a negative and turn it into a positive. That I can have a second chance too. Johnny answered. Look, at least promise me you'll think about taking the cars out. Mac said. I'll think about it. Johnny nodded. He then turned on the TV and was watching cartoons as Mac left, and the girls can only hope Johnny isn't pushing himself too far with this. I'm glad we didn't tell him that he gave his soul to the devil. Spike said. And we don't intend to tell anyone about that. But if someone starts getting suspicious, then we need to come clean about this. Twilight warned. The girls agreed and Twilight placed the book down and they all started trying relaxing too. Back at the saloon, things were not getting better. The woman was hiding in the bar because of all the skeletons all over the place. And she did not want to be next. So peeking out of her hiding spot, she looked and see if Blackheart was gone. But then she turned around and saw him as he grabbed her by the throat. I knew you were here. I could smell your fear. Blackheart said as he turned her into a skeleton too. He then walked to the table where Celestia is and took off the bandana and burned it. He then sat next to her and all she could do is quake in fear. Now this is more like it. Maybe we should have a drink here once we're married. And invite a few friends to join. Blackheart said. I told you that we are not getting married. Let me go or face the consequences. Celestia threatened. Or what? You gonna blast me with your weak magic? It's not happening. Besides, it'd be rude to not introduce my friends. Blackheart smirked. Then suddenly a bunch of earth pieces started forming into a demon human. Blackheart knew who he was. "Hello Gressel. Why are you here?" Gressel asked. Then he saw some water formation that turned into another demon. "Wallow. And what do you want from us?" Wallow asked. "I've come for the contract of San Venganza. Legend has it that the contract was stolen and hidden in a graveyard not far from here. And now you're gonna to help me find it?" Blackheart explained. Then the doors flew open and an eerie wind came in and formed the finally demon. Together they were members of the Hidden, a trio of fallen angels who hide themselves in the natural elements waiting for Judgment Day. Abigor. "And when we find it, then what?" Abigor asked. "Then we'll take this world and the rest of the universe one city at a time." Blackheart whispered in Celestia's ear. "Okay. But aren't you going to introduce us to your lady friend?" Gressel wondered. "Oh right. This is Princess Celestia. My future queen. And I'm sure she won't mind if she had a few friends joining her to the wedding later on once we find the contract." Blackheart introduced. The trio stared at Celestia and boy she was scared beyond anything she has seen in her life. "Well. Don't you look precious? And I bet you make a fine addition to the Hidden. Once you're married of course." Gressel smirked. "You won't get your filthy hands on that. Twilight and her friends will get it first and destroy it. And they will take all of you out." Celestia said. "And I don't even want to marry him. Even if I did I don't have a dress." "Oh. We'll make sure you have one. And if you wish to keep the souls alive you better accept the marriage or else," Abigor said. Then the Hidden surrounded Celestia like a pack of hungry hyenas ready to pounce. "Please don't hurt me," Celestia whimpered. "This is all a big misunderstanding." "Oh, don't worry little girl," Wallow replied. "We'll make this quick for you. But I must warn you, first times often get a little messy. And you look good enough to have a little fun. In a demon mistress outfit." Gressel said. "You wouldn't dare." Celestia replied. "I like how you want her as the queen. But save that for the wedding. First I need you guys to take care of some ponies that my father talked to. They along with a dragon are looking for her. If you see them, kill them." Blackheart ordered. "Easier said than done. We'll make glue out of those puny ponies." "But what about Mephistopheles?" Wallow asked. That statement made him angry. And when Blackheart gets mad he doesn't joke around. "Ever. Don't. Ever, say that name." Blackheart growled. "Sorry. My bad." Wallow apologized. "Good. Now let's go get to work. We have a contract to find a wedding to prepare. Oh Abigor and Wallow? Carry my queen will you? And make sure she doesn't escape." Blackheart replied. So the two fallen angels grabbed Celestia by the arms and carried her as the evil beings walked out of the saloon and on the search for the contract of San Venganza. Celestia can only pray that Twilight and her friends will find her and stop the Hidden and prevent Blackheart from succeeding his evil plan. Chapter 6 Out of Control and an Old Lover. In another part of the world in a city we see many people getting ready to see Johnny Blaze ride over the leap of death. The girls tried to convince him that this was a bad idea. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Johnny Blaze leap of death." The crowd cheered long and loud for getting ready to see Johnny make the jump. In the dressing room we see him looking in the mirror as his buddy Mac came in with the girls and Spike. "Hey JB." Mac said, but Johnny shushed him. "You're stepping on Karen. Now what was it you're gonna say?" Johnny asked as she grabbed a coffee pot and drank it. "I just ran a second check on the ramps. They look good. But the crowd's kind of out of control." "Johnny, you know you don't need to do this, don't you?" Mac replied. "He's right. You're pushing yourself too far." Spike worried. Johnny put down the coffee and went back to the mirror. Does this suit fit all right? It feels a little loose. Dude. Were you listening? You need to relax. Rainbow shouted. Hey Rainbow. Take a chill pill. Calm down. But yes. The suit's fine. Mac answered. Would you bring me my hat, Mac? Thank you. Johnny asked. Mac left as he went to get his hat. The girls stayed behind as they worried again for Johnny. He kept staring in the mirror and he was saying something to himself. You can't live in fear, Johnny said. Then everyone headed out with the photographers wanting to get a picture. Mac tried to help him get through the crowd and suddenly he spotted someone he hasn't seen for a while. It was the same woman who he dated back in his old days. Roxanne. The girls and Spike saw her and smiled. Roxanne? Is that her? We haven't seen her for so long. Fluttershy said. I guess one interview can't hurt. Twilight thought. So they decided to reunite with Roxanne and do the interview. How's your dad? Johnny asked. But she didn't answer that. Johnny Blaze, thank you for talking to us before your big jump. No one has ever attempted such a distance before, 300 feet from field goal to field goal. What's going through your minds right now? Roxanne asked. Well, a lot. Since Johnny wants to prove that he deserves a second chance. Rainbow answered. You look really good. I've seen you on TV. You know, I watch a lot of TV and you do a really good job. Johnny commented. Johnny, that's nice, but maybe we should get through the interview. Twilight suggested. Come on, Shui. He hasn't seen Roxy in years. Lemme him reunite with her. Applejack said. Johnny, what drives somebody to risk their life for entertainment? Roxanne asked. Well, Roxanne, reason Johnny does that is because he's a daredevil and whenever he wants to take it to the extreme he's there. Even Rainbow likes to be extreme sometimes. Spike answered. It's kinda true. Rainbow admitted. I heard you got married. Johnny said. Roxanne stood quiet, but she knew that wasn't true. No, it didn't happen. Johnny? Maybe we shouldn't have you do this. Rarity said. Most of the time the press focuses on the crashes, the broken bones, and the costs of what you do. Are there any other costs? Roxanne asked. Now that question had Johnny remember the day he gave his soul to the devil and that costed him his dad's life. But not wanting to keep them hanging, he gave them a short answer. Yeah. Roxanne didn't know how to respond to that but rolled with it. Thank you for this revealing peek into the life of Johnny Blaze. I'm Roxanne Simpson, on scene. She finished. And we're out. The cameraman concluded. You're gonna stay for the jump, right? Johnny asked. You know, we gotta get back. Plus, I never liked watching you jump. Roxanne said. But Roxanne, we haven't seen you for so long. Can't you stay and talk with us? Pinky begged. Wish I could, Pinky. But I should go. Roxanne replied and took her leave, but Johnny asked her before she left. He tried saying something but didn't know what to say. Then she actually left and Mac came in. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you two had some kind of history. Mac said. He did. A long time ago. Twilight admitted. That was it, Mac. The sign. Johnny smiled. The sign? You're saying that Roxanne is the sign you mentioned? Applejack asked. Johnny only nodded and that told him her answer. With Roxanne she was heading towards her vehicle. But one guy to get her to stay. Are you sure you don't want to stick around? He asked. No. It hasn't started yet. Come on, I'll buy you a donut. Roxy, it's Johnny Blaze we're talking about. He said. Let's go. Roxanne replied. Yep. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't convince her to stay. Now back with the gang in the arena, they were getting Johnny already. Thank God you listened to me about taking the cars out. It would have been suicide otherwise. This way, if you come up short, see, you'll come down on some nice soft, green grass. Mac said. But he spoke too soon, as he saw the roof open and a bunch of helicopters coming in and landing on the field. The girls can only panic and look at Johnny in fear. Johnny. Why? Why wouldn't you tell us you were doing helicopters? Rainbow shouted. Because you would have thrown a fit. Johnny answered. Call me old-fashioned, but Rainbow's right. This is ridiculous. Human sacrifice makes me uncomfortable. Why, JB? Why helicopters, man? Mac reasoned. That question made him remember what his dad wanted to try doing when he was around. My dad thought it'd be cool. Johnny replied. Now this time Mac didn't want to argue. He was right. Yeah. Okay, here's the deal, man. Halfway down the ramp I want you to hit the NOS, okay? Do not hit the NOS too early. If you hit it too early, then you are screwed. You got that? Hey. JB, where is your head at right now? Mac asked. She's probably on the interstate by now, huh? Johnny wondered. Johnny. This is overkill. You seriously need to listen to him. You can get killed if you mess up. Please don't screw this up. Rainbow pleaded. Johnny placed his helmet on and prepared to ride. How much gas did you put in the NOS? Johnny asked. Enough to shame the space shuttle. Chief, go ahead. Come on, girls. Out of the way. Mac said. They all got out of Johnny's way and he rode his bike down the ramp, and everyone panicked when they saw him jump it. They were terrified that he won't make it. But then Johnny remembered all the times Roxanne would watch his shows. And suddenly, to their surprise, he made it. And then the crowd cheered. I told you he'd make it. Yeah, JB. Mac cheered. Then Johnny felt so proud that he needed to talk to Roxanne. So he rode his bike and tried tracking her down. The girls and Spike saw what he was doing and went after him. Of course, since he was gonna be on the road, they grabbed a few bikes and gained their human forms and rode after him. Now with Roxanne, she was starting to get annoyed with the guy talking about Johnny Blaze. Stuart, can you please stop talking about Johnny Blaze already? Roxanne asked. But he saw Johnny and the gang coming close. He smirked. That might be hard. So Johnny tried doing everything he could to get her attention and tried asking the guy to pull over, but Roxanne wouldn't allow it. Come on, Roxy. I need to talk to you. Johnny begged. Hey dude. This isn't probably the best way to get her to stop. Spike yelled. Then Rainbow rode to the guy's window. Hey man. Don't freak out, but what's your name? I ain't scared. The name is Stuart. He answered. Oh. Stuart, can you give us a hand? Rainbow asked. Sorry girl. I wish I could, but she's the boss. Stuart answered. All right. I guess I see how it's gonna be. Hang on. Johnny said. So he did the unthinkable. He stopped right in front of the van and Stuart slammed on the brakes, and thank God he didn't run him over. Are you trying to kill yourself? Roxanne asked. I wanna talk to you. I haven't seen you in 56,000 years. Johnny replied. Please Roxanne. All he wants is to reunite with you. Fluttershy said. This is crazy. You are crazy. I don't have time for this, I have a story to edit. Roxanne said. You could have said no. Johnny reasoned. That made Roxanne stop. When they asked you to interview me, you could have said no. Johnny said. What are you trying to say? Roxanne asked. Well, I'm not trying to say anything. I'm saying that means something. Johnny answered. She then tried apologizing to the people that are not happy with the holdup. "Don't mind them. They're fine," Johnny assured. "We are on the side of the freeway." "Dude, has your brain been scrambled?" Rarity yelled. "Come on, Roxanne. Let's get some dinner. You still like Italian?" Johnny wondered. What is this about, Johnny? You want some closure? Look, you were 17 and you witnessed a tragedy and you ran. I understand now and I understand then and I have no hard feelings, none. That's why they call it the past, because it's past. It's done, it's over with. Roxanne said. But Johnny didn't listen to any of that and he kissed her. The crowd became more loud seeing that. They separated and Roxanne couldn't take it anymore. There's a restaurant in my hotel, the Plaza. 8 o'clock. And don't be late. Roxanne said. Yes. Johnny cheered. Then suddenly fans came out of their vehicles and asked Johnny for an autograph and he did the pleasure of signing them. Then night rolled in and the gang were at Johnny's place and he was getting ready for his date. The girls and Spike decided that they wanted to join too. Johnny. We're happy that you have a date. But next time please tell us what you're doing. You were lucky you made that jump. Twilight said. Okay, Twilight. I'm sorry. It was something my dad wished to do so I gave him his wish doing what he wanted. Johnny replied. We understand. But you still haven't forgotten that you needed to help us find our princess. Rarity reminded him. I haven't forgotten that. Since Mephistopheles somehow knew your real forms and mission, I haven't forgotten that. So Celestia is who you're trying to find? Johnny asked. Yes. Someone kidnapped her but we don't know who. Twilight answered. And this Mephistopheles guy said he'll reveal his name when he returns but we don't know when. Spike added. Then we zoom out as the thunder boomed. And sooner than later our heroes will meet the devil once more and he will assign them to stop the kidnapper. Chapter 7 Birth of the Ghost Rider and the Sinister Six. The thunder kept booming as the sky grew darker. We cut to the park where Blackheart is still carrying Celestia all tied up as he forced her to keep walking. Then suddenly the lights flickered. Blackheart turned and faced Mephistopheles as he came closer to him. Mephistopheles. I knew you come here. Blackheart said. Long time no see, boys. Where have you been hiding? I know why you're here. I know what you're after. It's my contract, and those are my souls. As for Celestia, she is not yours. Mephistopheles stated, seeing the hidden with him. How do you know my name? Celestia asked. Silence. Blackheart shouted. We both know you can't harm me here. It's now my turn to lead. Along with Celestia once were married. Then suddenly he secretly placed one hand on her butt and squeezed it, making her gasp in terror. Have no manners? Did you just squeezed my butt? Celestia said, enraged. Oh. Sounds like someone wants to get a little kinky. I wouldn't mind playing with your ass for a while. Gressel smirked. Don't even think about it. Celestia growled. You will all suffer for this. Now you will deal with my rider. Along with the main six and Spike. They will put you away and leave you to rot. Mephistopheles threatened. Your favorite creations. Send your precious rider and the main six. I will retire them just like I will retire you, father. Blackheart said. Like that they disappeared and the lights came back on. It sounds like trouble is already brewing. In the night of the city we see Roxanne waiting for Johnny to arrive at the restaurant. But he sure was taking his time. Speaking of Johnny, he and the girls were still at his place and he kept repeating that he doesn't live in fear. Now that was starting to creep out the girls. Johnny? Can you please stop saying the same thing? And we should go meet Roxanne now. Rarity asked. Okay. We'll go. I was only reminding myself that I made the coolest jump ever. Johnny said. Then suddenly he saw his hands turn a flame pink color. He tried washing them to see if it will come off, but it didn't. Then after he dried them there was smoke coming out and they heard a voice calling them. Johnny. Main 6. Spike, the voice whispered. The gang looked around trying to see where the voice is coming from but couldn't pinpoint it. Back with Roxanne, she was still waiting for Johnny to arrive. She wasted her time drinking all the red wine there was. Now back with the girls and Johnny, they went outside to see who called them. The voice called and this time they also heard his bike running. The voice laughed and when they turned around they saw the same man, Mephistopheles. You. Johnny said while pointing. You have a lot of nerve coming here after what you done. Twilight said. Hello, Johnny. Girls. Mephistopheles replied. You stay away from us. Spike growled. A little late for that, Spike. Though I gotta say that is a nice bike. Mephistopheles commented. Why are you here? Johnny asked. Yeah. If you're here to tell us the name of the kidnapper that has Celestia, you better make it good. Twilight frowned. Oh, I've always been here, Johnny. All along. Phoenix, Denver, Houston. Everywhere. And you're right, Twilight Sparkle. I have the name of the kidnapper that has Celestia. Mephistopheles explained. So it was you. Keeping Johnny alive. Applejack accused. No. No, Applejack. That was all Johnny. He's the best. And I happen to be his greatest fan. The posters, the video games, the crowd screaming, chanting, Johnny, Johnny, Johnny. It makes me so proud. It's like watching an investment that keeps growing and growing until the day you cash it in. That day is today, guys. Mephistopheles stated. Okay, you said that when you return you will reveal the kidnapper's name. Tell us. Who took Celestia? Twilight demanded. Oh yes. I did promise that. The one that took Celestia is none other than Blackheart. Your task, find Blackheart and destroy him. Mephistopheles said. Blackheart? Who's Blackheart? Rainbow asked. Find him yourself. Johnny told him. It doesn't work like that. You're all under contract, remember. Besides, there is a deal I'm willing to make for all of you. Mephistopheles said. We don't want to take it. You gave us the name, so. Rarity said. Let me finish. Mephistopheles interrupted. If you all succeed at killing Blackheart and saving Celestia, then I will return Johnny's soul and grant you a way back home to Equestria. The girls didn't know what to do. At this point they were all confused at this. If we said no, then we don't have a choice, do we? Spike said. I'm afraid not. If you want to return home, then find Blackheart, destroy him and save your princess. Mephistopheles said. After he said that, he slammed the cane and made the motorcycle ride at super speed and also made the girls follow behind him. They couldn't control their flying and they passed through made buildings, leaving a path of chaos as they zoomed past. They even knocked off a cop from his bike. With Blackheart and the hidden, they still had Celestia in their grasps, walking to their destination searching for the contract. But then someone dressed as a redneck came with a light and saw them. Hey! You can't come in here. This is private, he said, but got a little scared seeing them. Property. There was a cemetery here. Blackheart said. Yeah, a long time ago. The redneck replied. What happened to all the graves? Blackheart asked. They moved them. The redneck answered. Where to? Blackheart asked again. I don't know. He said. So who would? Blackheart asked again. Okay, St. Michael's Church. The redneck said, getting nervous as the hidden surrounded him. They're in charge of the whole thing. Look, you really shouldn't be here. That's what they keep telling me. Blackheart said as he turned the redneck into a skeleton. Back with Johnny and the gang, they saw him fly off his bike and then smoke came out of his face and then they started seeing fire coming out of him. "Johnny! What's happening to you?" Fluttershy feared. But she got her answer as he screamed in pain and everyone saw his skin burn off and he became something more terrifying to them. His head looked like some sort of skull that was set on fire and his hands were burning bones. Meaning he was a walking skeleton on fire. He became the Ghost Rider. "Oh, for Celestia's sake!" Rarity screamed. He roared and then they heard someone laughing and clapping. They turned around and saw Blackheart coming to them. The girls and Spike gave him the angry looks and stood face to face with him. "Were you all looking for someone?" Blackheart asked. The Ghost Rider pointed at him and spoke. "Back to hell. So you're Blackheart. And you're the one who took Celestia?" Twilight said. Blackheart chuckled. "Yes. And you must be Twilight Sparkle. I heard all about you. But I'm afraid I have a contract and a wedding to plan. And you all are not invited. You have one chance to return the princess or else we will destroy you." Rainbow threatened. The girls took out their elements and placed them on. But Blackheart was unamused and can only smirk at them. "You really think those so-called elements of harmony can stop me? You must be dumber than I thought. But judging from the looks, we're not gonna all have a meaningful conversation now, are we?" Blackheart asked. "You're going down," Ghost Rider said. "What he said, you no good varmin. We're gonna stop you. And you're not marrying Celestia. Now surrender or suffer the consequences." Applejack growled. "I don't think so," Blackheart said. Then Abagor in his wind form attacked the girls and Spike as they screamed in terror and threw them on the ground unconscious and the elements came flying off. Then he attacked Ghost Rider and his neck was on a chain as the flames died down. Blackheart chuckled and smiled seeing their demise. But the flames were relit and wiped the smile off Blackheart's face and ripped the chain off and landed on his feet. He walked towards him but he had Wallow waiting to trap him. And then a truck came by and slammed into him. "Oh. Ouch. That is gonna hurt. Oh well. Call me when you actually are a challenge," Blackheart said as he took his leave. Then coming out of the truck was none other than Gressel. For none was the one driving. He looked at his work and spoke. "They ain't so tough," Gressel said. He climbed out and was heading to the hidden but suddenly. "Hey! Dirtbag!" It was Ghost Rider. "He's alive." And then he punched Gressel in the face and he landed on the ground. He held the chain and lit it on fire. "Have mercy," Gressel begged. "Sorry. All out of mercy," Ghost Rider replied. Then he swung the chain around and lassoed him. It burned him as he screamed in pain and yelled for help, but the others disappeared and he turned into a statue and he broke him into tiny burnt earth pieces. He then got the chain on him and looked at the elements of harmony. He walked to them and picked them up. Then he looked at the unconscious bodies of the main six and Spike and knew what had to be done. "Time to unleash the Sinister Six," Ghost Rider replied. So using his hellfire he transformed the elements into looking more hellish-like. They had been changed and modified to look much more sinister. The magenta star gem in the center was now a maroon color. The gold was now a shiny gray color, and the blue gems on the face were now red. Sharp metallic spikes stuck out at the ends, almost making the tiara look sinister. The others had the gold turned to gray and spikes out, but the colors on the gems were now an evil orange. Then he went to each member of the main six and placed their rightful element on them. And when he went to Spike he placed his hand on his chest and roared as the transformation began. The flames began surrounding them and one by one each of them were turning into a rider. Spike turned into a fiery dragon of hell, while the ponies took their human forms and became female ghost riders. Even their clothes became biker outfits. They joined the Ghost Rider and were all ready for real. He then whistled and out came his motorcycle. When he placed his hands on it he roared again and it started changing too. Spikes came on the back and the wheels were lit on fire. Once it finished it truly became a motorcycle straight from the depths of hell. He then used the hellfire and made 7 other bikes for the gang. Each one has the same look of hell. They all got in their bikes and since Ghost Rider was the leader he was going to command the mission. Come Sinister Six. And Spike. We have a princess to save and an evil demon to destroy. Ghost Rider replied. The Sinister Six and Spike all nodded in agreement and together they all rode their bikes into the heat of the night and thus began the mission for real. But what they don't know is that they completely forgot about the date with Roxanne. Chapter 8 The Penance Stare and Answers. Back with Roxanne she was still waiting and was getting a little drunk off the wine. To her it was turning into the worst date ever. Back on the road we see Ghost Rider, the Sinister Six and Spike riding their bikes destroying every light they passed. Meanwhile we see a mugger trying to steal a woman's bag. Gimme the damn bag. The mugger threatened. Help. The woman cried. The gang all stopped their bikes and heard her cry for help. Then the Ghost Rider and the Sinister Six roared as it caught the mugger's attention. Then they all jumped down and stared at the mugger while one of them pointed to the right telling the woman to run that way. Thanks. She said. So she ran off and the mugger continued looking at them in pure terror. He had never seen something so scary like that and this was only starting. Ghost Rider pointed at him and spoke. You. Guilty. Fluttershy he's been misbehaving. Let's teach him a lesson. Ghost Rider replied. She nodded and they both grabbed the mugger and pinned him against the wall. Look into our eyes. Rider Fluttershy said. The mugger tried stabbing her but had no effect. Then he tried stabbing Ghost Rider but that ended up with the same result. He took the knife out and it melted. Your soul is stained by the blood of the innocent. Ghost Rider spoke. The mugger tried struggling for dear life but with no effort. Now you will feel their pain. Rider Fluttershy said. No. The mugger screamed. He stared into both their eyes and in their gazes he could see all the pain he caused on his victims. Those images are trapped in his mind and burning his soul on fire. Then after a while of seeing all the victims' pain we zoom out seeing the mugger's eyes all burned and the body dropped on the ground lifeless. They all continued riding their bikes in the heat of the night and keeping a lookout for Blackheart. But then the sun began rising and the boosters on their bikes began sputtering and all the riders fell off. The 7 bikes disappeared into thin air and the original one turned back to normal. Then the gang saw their skin returning to them and they screamed a little in pain as they regained their normal forms. Then they all struggled to reach a certain grave with Johnny Father's name on it and they were too tired to continue on. They all rested and then a shovel head came down and they stared at the new person. Morning boneheads. He greeted. I ain't, no, bonehead. Rainbow said weakly. But due to all the energy they drained out, they became unconscious and the guy saw all of them in that position and took them inside. They all woke up inside laying on beds and they woke up feeling their throats on fire. Then they all grabbed a cup of water and drank it so fast to cool the heat down. After they did they all went outside and saw the guy they met earlier. You all right? He asked. Yeah, we're good. Johnny answered. We feel like our skulls are on fire, but we're good. Thanks for the water. Spike said. Did you see my bike? Johnny asked. The guy simply smirked at them. What? Did we say something funny? Pinky wondered. Ironic. We're big on irony around here. It's out by the shed. He answered. Thanks. Johnny smiled. It does. Excuse me? What did you say? Twilight asked. You're wondering if the bike looks normal? It does. And to answer your other questions, last night did happen, it wasn't a dream, and it will happen again. He answered. Who are you? And how do you know this stuff? Applejack asked. Question is, who are you? You're the rider. The Ghost Rider and the Sinister Six. Get used to it, kids. It'll be a lot easier. If you don't, I got some nice cozy spots picked out for you. He said. They really don't know how he understands this stuff as they continue walking to the shed and getting his bike. The man followed them while Johnny grabbed it. They've seen you now. They'll be waiting for you. You'll need my help, you expect to last the night? He replied. Sir, we appreciate the offer, but the last time we let someone help me it didn't pan out so good. Fluttershy said. This ain't something you can run from, kids. This day has been coming ever since you made that deal. He said. That made everyone stop in their tracks and turn to face him. How did he know that they made a deal with the devil? This mission just keeps getting weirder and more confusing by the minute. Congratulations. Your chances just went from none to slim. He smiled. Okay. You know some things about what we're doing. We want the answers. Twilight said. Come on in, ladies. And I'll tell you. He offered. Meanwhile, we see the police investigating the city train yards from last night. Roxanne was spreading the news about it and the chief didn't know what could have caused it last night. Then we cut back to Johnny, the main six, and Spike at the church resting while the man was healing Johnny's injuries. The rider is the devil's bounty hunter. Sent to hunt down anyone that escapes from hell. He started. So Johnny became the devil's bounty hunter? Spike asked. Yes. Sterilize that for me. He said, giving him a hook. Okay. But where? Spike wondered. In the boiling water. Spike nodded and did what he asked him to do. But we don't know why he became this ghost rider at the night. It was so ghastly to witness. Rarity shuddered. During the day you all will be normal. But at night, in the presence of evil, the rider and the Sinister Six takes over. He explained. I remember now. Last night. There was some punk and I could see all the wrong he'd ever done and I turned it all against him. Johnny realized. Me too. I witnessed that too. Fluttershy agreed. The penance stare. It sears the souls of the wicked. It's the Ghost Rider's greatest weapon. All the riders have it. Including you girls. He explained. Have there been others with the Ghost Rider problem like us? Rainbow asked. Been a few. Last one was 150 years ago in a little town called San Venanza. Nice town. Nice people. Till a stranger came along making promises one deal at a time. Consumed by greed, they turned on one another until the village of San Venanza drowned in its own blood and their souls trapped forever in that god-forsaken place. He explained. What's this have to do with Blackheart? Johnny asked. Yeah. And if I remember correctly, he was after the contract of San Venanza. Not to mention that he has our princess. Spike remembered. That made the guy realize after hearing that name. Blackheart? He sent you kids after Blackheart? He asked. And others? Fluttershy added. The hidden. Fallen angels cast out of heaven by Saint Michael himself. They hide within the elements waiting for the end of days. As for this Celestia you speak of, I know why he has her. He's trying to make her his demon queen. If he marries her and takes the souls of San Venanza, all of the universe will be covered in darkness and all hope is doomed. You better hang around here, kids. They can't come onto hallowed ground. He realized. Thanks. I feel much better now that we know that I'm the devil's bounty hunter. Johnny thanked. But one more thing. If Johnny is the devil's bounty hunter, then why do we feel like that we are the Ghost Rider's followers? Rarity asked. Because those elements you're wearing, the rider upgraded them. Once he takes over, the Sinister Six will too. He answered. The girls nodded and got up, thanked him and followed Johnny to head on back. but not till after he had one final thing to say. "Why did you do it? Why did you all make the deal?" he asked. Johnny was a kid around that time. Pinky said. "And what did you get in return?" he asked again. "Well, it did cost us Johnny's dad's life. But he was willing to tell us that Blackheart kidnapped Celestia. Sir, we appreciate you giving us all the info we need. Now we need to go and see where and when the Hidden and Blackheart are going to and what they'll be doing. Celestia is counting on us," Twilight admitted. And so Johnny took off, and the main six and Spike all thanked him for keeping they company and giving them the information they needed about Blackheart's plan. Now all they need to do is find him and the Hidden and stop them from achieving. Chapter 9, Telling Roxanne the Truth. The gang all headed back into the city, and they saw all the chaos and destruction that was everywhere. They started realizing it when they were the Rider and the Sinister Six that they could cause that much while fighting evil. "Oh my God," Johnny said. "This is not good. I can't believe that we seriously can cause all this." Twilight worried. Johnny got off his bike and the main six followed. Spike looked around, seeing all the destruction that's been caused. In fact, he even saw Roxanne interviewing the same woman the Rider and the Sinister Six saved. Then suddenly they heard her explain the description of the Rider and the Sinister Six. They were surprised by that, and suddenly Roxanne saw to Johnny and the main six and went to them. "Roxy," Johnny said. "Don't." Roxana interrupted. "Roxanne, please. We just want to apologize. I know we were supposed to be at dinner last night, but something happened. Let us explain." Rarity begged. "Yeah. Last night was inexcusable," Johnny added. "No apologies. See, you all did me a favor last night because you made me think of then and now. And, when you left, yeah, it hurt like hell. But you know what? I got over it and I went to college. I got a great job. But you, Johnny, you're just the same. Oh, better paid, more fans, but you're still just a carny," Roxanne replied. "Roxanne, I know you're hurt, but we have to tell you why so you understand. Please let us tell you," Twilight hoped. "Oh man. My dad was right. You were just a phase," Roxanne finished. And like that she went in the van and left the gang all alone. Yep, they might have stopped one of the Hidden, but they kinda broke their promise to Roxanne. And we know that Pinky doesn't like it when she sees a promise break. Night came in and Johnny looked in the mirror, seeing that he was still his normal self. Then he read one of the books that explained the Ghost Rider and how to control it. The host can gain control of the possessing spirit through concentration on and manipulation of the fire element that exists within man. Johnny read. So you can try to gain control of the Rider. Okay. But that guy at the cemetery from earlier. He said something about a group of fallen angels calling themselves the Hidden. And that they are with Blackheart. Spike said. I think I know. Blackheart is trying to slow us down by sending the Hidden to attack us. So if we want to get to Blackheart and save Celestia, then we need to deal with the Hidden first. Twilight replied. That makes sense, but I think Ghost Rider took down one of them already. Applejack said. Turns out that one was named Gressel. The Earth Demon. There's still 2 other fallen angels that we gotta deal with. Abigor and Wallow. Twilight finished. Then we better learn how to control the riders in us. Fluttershy said. Everyone nodded in agreement and prepared to learn to control the riders in them. Then one by one each of them took out a hand or hoof, and a flame came out and threw it at a stand of candles. Then to their surprise they heard the elevator and out came Roxanne. Hey, I hope you don't mind. Your lift was open. Look girls, I came to apologize. I'm leaving town tonight and I didn't want what I said today to be the last words between us. Roxanne said. It's okay, Roxy. Pinky replied. No. It's not okay. It was cruel and unsure. And I was mean. So I'm sorry. Roxanne reasoned. Well, thank you for apologizing, Roxanne. We forgive you. Rarity smiled. Then Roxanne looked around and saw some pictures that brought some old memories back. And suddenly they kissed again. And now Johnny tried to politely get Roxanne to her car, but all this made her head spin. You almost killed yourself on the highway so you can ask me out and then you don't show. Then you keep my picture, but when I kiss you, you try to shove me out the door. What's going on? Don't you care about me at all, Johnny? Roxanne asked. Roxanne, we were trying to tell you that something happened. But you would think we'd be crazy if we did. Rainbow replied. Come on, girls. You know you can talk to me. You can tell me anything. Please. Roxanne assured. Johnny. I think it's time we tell her the truth. She needs to know this. Fluttershy said. Yep. We can't keep this secret forever. Applejack agreed. She wouldn't believe us anyway. Johnny said. Try me. Roxanne challenged. In my job, I've seen and heard just about everything. So there's nothing you can tell me that's gonna surprise me. Hearing what Roxanne said, they knew she was right. So the gang all decided it was now time to tell her their secret. Twilight took a deep breath and prepared to explain. Okay, Roxanne. If you must know, we gave our souls to the devil. Twilight started. And we're now his personal bounty hunters. When Johnny was 17, he made a deal with him to cure his father's cancer. Spike added. But now we had to spare you on the account we work for the devil. That's why we couldn't make it to dinner. Johnny continued. So you're working for the devil? Roxanne asked. Yes. And he assigned us to take down an evil being named Blackheart who kidnapped our princess. Her name is Celestia and she is in grave danger with Blackheart around. Rarity said. So we turn into the Ghost Rider and Sinister Six to hunt down the sinners. But it only happens at night, like it is now. Whenever we're around evil people, evil spirits, we change into. Johnny continued. What? We turn into the Ghost Rider and the Sinister Six. But we are learning to control it. We're trying to. Johnny finished. Roxanne remained calm, but at the same time she couldn't believe everything she heard from Johnny and his friends. So let me get this straight. You all sold your souls to the devil and now became his bounty hunters. And the reason why you couldn't come to dinner is because you turned into them and stop evil. Especially this Blackheart who has a princess. Is that your excuse? For the past? For last night? For everything? Roxanne asked. We know you don't believe us at first, Roxanne. But everything we said is true. Blackheart is running around with Celestia. And if we don't save her, then all of hope is doomed. Applejack spoke honestly. Roxanne stood up and processed everything she heard. Okay. The way I see it is I've got a couple of choices. I could either accept that what you really believe, what you're telling me, is true and take all of you to the nearest psychiatric hospital. Roxanne started. See. Now that Johnny said. Or I realize that you'd rather make up ridiculous stories than be honest with me and I walk out of that door forever. Roxanne finished. Roxanne. I can tell when I sense a lie. And there's no lie coming from either of us. Please, you have to trust us. Applejack begged. But that only led to her getting in the car and driving away. To them she didn't believe a single word they said and left them alone once again. Then they heard sirens coming towards them and a bunch of cops surrounding them and aiming their guns at them. They raised their hands in the air. Whoa! There must be a mistake. Twilight shouted. Don't move. You have the right to remain silent. A cop yelled. Johnny Blaze and Main 6. A voice said. The group turned around and saw a man coming towards them. I'm Captain Jack Dolan. This is Officer Edwards. You guys are coming with us. He said. Sir, there's been a mistake. Whatever happened, we didn't do it. We were trying to track down the real criminal, and if you arrest us we won't be able to stop him. Fluttershy worried. You can explain it in the station. Now get in. Jack ordered. The group was left with no choice but to go in the car, and they were on their way to the police station. But since it was night, they knew what will happen. Chapter 10: The Ghost Rider and Sinister Six. The second fight, Caged Thugs. The gang all arrived at the police station, and they were now being questioned by the chief. He wasn't listening to the real reason and was too stubborn. Let's try again. Do you all remember him? This guy was 3 years from retirement and never harmed a fly. In fact, neither did most of the corpses turning up since you came home, you son of a bitch. And as for you six, I bet you were on this too. Jack asked. Sir, we keep telling you that we didn't kill him. Rarity said. That's bullshit. Jack yelled. Okay, let's take a breather. Sorry about that. It's definitely a little warm in here. Edwards replied. Sir, we are telling you that there is the real criminal running around, and he has our princess. You need to let us go so we can stop him. Twilight said. Look guys, I'm not asking for your help. I'm asking you to help yourselves. Edwards replied. We watch a lot of TV and we know what you're doing. Good cop, bad cop. But you're both good cops, and you provide a very, very important civil service. In fact, when I finish my stunt career, I intend to apply my skills to being a motorcycle policeman. So we love to help you. But we didn't kill anybody. Johnny said. If you ask us who did this, has Blackheart's name all over it? Rainbow reasoned. Jesus Christ. Jack complained. So the officer dragged Johnny and the gang to a huge cage where there was a bunch of criminals in there. They all tried reasoning with him that the real criminal is out there. But being stubborn as they were, choose not to listen and threw them in the cage. The girls were worried and Rainbow was pissed. You shitheads are gonna regret locking us in here. When we find the real criminal, I will put you assholes in the cage. Rainbow threatened. Please. You gotta let us out. Johnny begged. Well, what do we have here? Everyone jumped and turned as a group of prisoners approached from behind them. Leading this dangerous lot was a big man with very long dark hair and wearing a hat, the like of which made him look almost dangerous, complete with a wicked smirk to match. New meat, boys, the man grinned wickedly. And such pretty faces too. We don't see many pretty girls in here. And look, they even brought a sibling. Isn't that cute? The men soon surrounded the girls and Spike like a pack of hungry hyenas ready to pounce. Look, we really don't want trouble. So? Fluttershy worried. Oh, don't worry. We'll be gentle. And if I didn't know any better, I say that's Johnny Blaze with you. Another man said. Yeah. I get that a lot. Johnny said. Nah, that is you. I saw your show at the state fair years ago. I paid $10 to see you fall. But you didn't. He snarked. Looks like somebody is tripping out. You might all be big shots out there, but in here you all are nothing but monkeys in a cage. The leader yelled as the others got closer. Look guys, please. We don't want trouble. Just leave us alone. Rarity cried. I think trouble just found you. Get them. The leader shouted. Then all the criminals started gangbanging them and they were powerless. But then suddenly Johnny had enough and turned into the Ghost Rider, and the girls became the Sinister Six once more. He cracked his hands and went to one of the criminals, and water came from the emergency showers. He gasped and grabbed the thug as he cowered in fear. He then looked at the tear in his jacket and then the thug's jacket. Nice jacket. Very nice. Ghost Rider said. He then dropped the thug and took his jacket and placed it on. Then spikes on the shoulders rose up and he grabbed a pair of spiked gloves and placed them on as spikes rose from that too. Come guys. Danger is upon us. Ghost Rider replied. The Sinister Six all nodded and followed in the direction of the Ghost Rider. But then Twilight pointed at another guy and can tell that he's innocent. Then Spike came in front and burned the bars off and the gang all left the cell and headed out while the last guy fainted. Meanwhile in a church we see Blackheart lighting up some candles and stared at Celestia wickedly. Now this is beautiful. I really should consider building something like this for the wedding. Blackheart said. How many times do I have to tell you? I don't wanna marry you, heartless creep. Celestia yelled. Then someone came in the door and was shocked seeing Blackheart. Forgive me, Father. For I have sinned. I sinned a lot. Blackheart said. Back in the garage a policeman hears some enchanting and out of nowhere the Ghost Rider's bike came riding through and once outside smoke appeared and brought the other bikes out. The gang were about to leave the station but then another cop came and whacked Ghost Rider with a billy club only for his jaw to be busted. He then placed it back in position and the cop was terrified. Rainbow then burned his hand and weapon as he screamed in pain. Then Ghost Rider pointed his finger and shook his head side to side saying shouldn't have done that. He then wrapped his chain around him and the gang all hopped in their bikes and Ghost Rider laughed taking off and causing the lights to explode. Back with Blackheart he was confronting the priest. Where's the contract of San Venganza? Blackheart demanded. I don't know what you're talking about. He said. Don't lie to me. You have been protecting it all these years. Swore to its secretary. Blackheart threatened. Swore to keep it from the likes of you. And I think this lady wants you to let her go too. The priest said. But Blackheart only smirked. There's an old saying. Don't raise more devils than you can lay down. My father raised one too many. He said and then released a demonic roar. Back with the gang were all riding in the heat of the night but also avoiding the cops that were chasing them. They reached a bridge and saw lots of cops surrounding them. So they decided to head in the water. The cops saw that they dived in and the water began boiling. Out emerged the gang and for some reason didn't put out the flames on them or the bikes. The Ghost Rider flipped off the cops and he and the gang followed him. With Blackheart and the two hidden angels they walked out of the church taking Celestia with them. They suddenly heard the motorbike and the laughter of the rider. They're coming for us. Wallow worried. The rider. Celestia realized. Face it, Blackheart. When the rider and the girls find you your little wedding plans will be cancelled. Oh really? I seriously doubt it. Abigor. You know what to do. Blackheart said. Abigor nodded and turned into wind going in the direction to slow down the rider and the Sinister Six. But little did he knew that they are smarter than they look. Chapter 11 Fighting Abigor. The Ghost Rider and Sinister Six all continued riding till they all heard Abigor saying their names. They looked around to see where Abigor was. Then suddenly he came in front of them and snatched Ghost Rider and slammed him on a car. Spike breathed hellfire at Abigor and he yelled a little but then landed on a building. Ghost Rider recovered and roared saying that he and the Sinister Six are coming. Come Sinister Six. We must face Abigor now. Ghost Rider said. A cop was still chasing them but they didn't have time to play cops and robbers. Abigor is on the loose and they needed to stop him. But the cop didn't care. He still kept chasing them. I have a few suspects fleeing west on Cherry. Repeat, west on Cherry. The cop reported. That's a dead end. You got him. The speaker replied. 10-4 on that. The cop finished. The gang were still on the hunt and saw Abigor fly to the top of a tall building. But they had something up their sleeves. So together they all concentrated on the wheels and rode them on the building headed to the top. The cop couldn't believe what he was seeing. The gang rode up the building and Roxanne, who was doing her laundry, saw the fire trail going up and was in shock. The Ghost Rider and Sinister Six all arrived at the top and heard Abigor laughing. But then they saw a police chopper flying and shined a light on them. Back down we see a huge team of cops surrounding the bottom waiting for the gang to come down. Back with Ghost Rider and Applejack, they both took out their chain and rope, yelled like cowboys and lassoed the chopper and pulled it down in front of them. "Come here!" Ghost Rider yelled. The cop freaked out a little. "You're pissing us off. Get out." Rider Applejack said. "Okay. Okay. I'm sorry." The pilot cried. With that out of the way, the two lassoed the chopper out of here and it flew away. Then suddenly Abagor appeared and they now came face to face with the Wind Demon himself. Well. We finally meet face to face. You should have joined us, Rider. Soon we will have the contract and Blackheart will have his queen. Then you all will only be footnotes in the history of the new hell. Abagor replied. He won't get the chance. Celestia is not his. Rider Twilight said venomous. Then Ghost Rider grabbed him and was ready to eliminate him. Time to clear the air, Ghost Rider said. But Abagor could only laugh as he turned into wind and floated in the air. Then Ghost Rider took out his chain and tried grabbing him, but instead went through him and he laughed harder. You're a slow learner, aren't you, Rider? You cannot catch the wind. Abagor replied. But Ghost Rider had a trick up his sleeve. He lit the chain on fire and spun it around and around till it created a tornado of fire. It trapped Abagor and he yelled in pain as it burned him alive. Ghost Rider may not catch the wind, but he can sure burn it. After a few minutes Abagor was destroyed and Ghost Rider wrapped the chain around himself and got on his bike with the Sinister Six doing the same. They all rode and crashed through the barrier with them using the chains to come riding down the building, and the cops saw them and they were surprised and freaking out. Even Roxanne, who was witnessing it all. The gang all were close and they stand them straight and crashed on the glass floor. Everyone covered their eyes and saw smoke from that. When it died down they can now see the Ghost Rider and the Sinister Six as they cocked their guns and pointed at them. However, when Roxanne saw them, she now realized that everything that they said was true. Johnny. Girls. Roxanne said softly. The riders got off their bikes and headed towards them. Even the flames turned blue as they got closer, but the captain still thought that they were threats. Prepare to fire, Jack yelled. Roxanne gasped as she didn't want that happening. And as they were getting closer, that's when things were not going good. Fire! Jack shouted. Then suddenly every cop tried shooting at the riders, but they were not affected by them. In fact, due to them being immortal, there was no way they can die. The cops stopped shooting and Jack was shocked that they didn't get hurt once by any of the bullets. Then the blue flames turned back into orange and Ghost Rider and Rarity both created waves of hellfire, busting almost every cop's eardrums as they screamed and groaned in pain. Then Rainbow stared at the captain and pointed at him. You do not chase us or lock us anymore. If you do, then I will burn you alive. For you are guilty. Rider Rainbow spoke coldly. She then conjured a ball of hellfire and threw it at him, burning his gun and his face as he yelled and screamed in pain. He ran and ran till he found a fountain of water and jumped in it, extinguishing the glass, leaving a few burn marks on his face, and he groaned in pain. Okay. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have pissed you off. I won't chase you anymore. Just don't hurt me, Jack cried. Rainbow growled and was about to attack again, but Ghost Rider stopped her. Rainbow. Leave the face burning for Blackheart. He already got his punishment. Come, Sinister Six. We have more work to do to save Celestia, Ghost Rider commanded. So everyone hopped on their bikes and together they all took off, crashing and exploding the cop cars. Roxanne stood there all shocked and surprised that they were telling the truth all this time. But what they don't know is that Blackheart and Wallow were watching from above, and Blackheart frowned. Abagor is dead. They killed him. What do we do now? Wallow asked. Then Blackheart looked at Roxanne and then an idea formed on his head. If they wanna be like that, then I say we force them to bring the contract. By threatening them with this Roxanne's life. and maybe the life of a pony from Equestria. Wallow. Go to Equestria and seek someone they know. We'll force them to bring the contract, and if they wish to keep them alive then they will obey. Wallow nodded and Blackheart opened a portal for him and off he went. Then Blackheart looked back down and frowned so angry. This isn't over, my little ponies. For this will be the end of friendship. And possibly the end of your friend's life too. Blackheart said. Who is he planning to take? Whoever it is, it can't be good. Chapter 12 Cadence Kidnapped. Back in Equestria at night, all the ponies were sleeping the night away. For today was a busy day for them. But in the ever-free forest a lake started bubbling and the water began forming into the water demon Wallow. He crawled out of the water and headed out of the forest and into Ponyville. He looked around trying to see where he can snatch a victim and threaten the main six to bring the contract of San Venganza. But so far there was nothing. So this is Ponyville, huh? Nice town. But doesn't have exactly what I'm looking for. I need someone that I know they'll just beg to save. But who? Wallow thought. He thought about it for a while till something caught his attention. He noticed a distant kingdom not far from Canterlot. Seeing it had a crystal-like appearance, it appealed to his liking and he smirked as a plan formed in his head. Nice castle. Yes, I know what to do. I will simply kidnap the queen of that crystal castle and bring her to Blackheart. Once the main six and Spike see and hear this, they will have no choice but to get the contract of San Venganza. This will be perfect. Wallow said. So he began walking in the direction of where the crystal castle is, and when he spotted another lake, he jumped in and swam his way there. After a few minutes, he jumped out of the water and found himself at the entrance of the Crystal Empire. Evilly chuckling, he walked past the gates and prepared for what's about to come his way. Suddenly, the crystal guards ran toward him with their spears raised. Hold it right there. Freeze. I don't think so, foolish mortals. In fact, you all are about to be soaked. Wallow threatened. So using his demonic water powers, he washed away all the guards and left them drowning as the demons in the puddles carried them to the deep as they screamed. Thus, he walked his way up to the crystal castle and entered the palace. The guards were alerted to his presence, but Wallow gave them no chance to confront him as he washed and drowned them on the spot. With no more hindrances in his way, he entered the throne room and spotted 2 empty thrones. Ah, a lovely castle in a worthless world. 2 thrones, eh? Well then, I guess the king will have to deal without his wife. Now where to find them? Wallow said as he walked around. It was like that for a while till he found a bedroom door. Suddenly when he approached it, he turned into water and slunk underneath it. Inside the room was the bedroom of Shining Armor and Princess Cadence, the rulers of the Crystal Empire. The puddle of water started forming bigger and back into Wallow, as he loomed over the couple. The couple groaned, until their horns started glowing their respective magical auras. The 2 suddenly woke up. Cadence. Shining Armor asked in concern. Shining Armor, what is? They suddenly looked up and gasped, seeing Wallow smirking evilly at them. Hello there. I was hoping you would join us for a little wedding that Blackheart is planning. He's gonna marry Celestia once we have the contract of San Venganza. And I'm sure he would love to have you there. Wallow smirked. So this Blackheart was the one that caused this to happen. Cadence shouted. Look, I don't know who you are or how you got here, but I'm warning you just this once. Get out of the Crystal Empire or face the consequences. Shining warned. Or what? You going to use that pathetic magic? Let me show you mine. Wallow said. So he conjured a huge ball of water and splashed it in Shining's face. He was all soaking wet, but when he tried moving, a demon merged out and dragged his body to the deep. He screamed and Cadence tried saving her husband, but Wallow wouldn't let go. You ain't going nowhere. Now you are coming with me. Wallow roared. And so the 2 crashed through the window with Cadence screaming, and Shining managed to break free from the water trap, but he lost Wallow. Now he can only hope that Twilight and her friends will save both of them. Chapter 13 Talking with Carter and a Demand. Daytime came around and we see Johnny and the girls heading back to the cemetery where the caretaker is. If he knew who they were at night, they need more info as they can get one step closer to stopping Blackheart. Sir. They know who we are. Johnny said. Who's that? He asked. What? Everybody. You don't watch TV? What's the matter with you? Is this gonna end? Johnny answered. It'll end if you kids can catch him. He said. Sir. Ever since we came here and met you, I can't help but think that you seem to know more about our situation. What's really going on? Twilight asked. The caretaker looked at them and can tell that they do need help stopping Blackheart by any means. So he took them to a grave that had the name Carter Slade. Carter Slade? Who is that? Rainbow asked. Legend has it he was a Texas Ranger. Man of honor. But suddenly he got greedy. Found himself locked up, waiting on the gallows. Stranger came to see him. Offering freedom. Space made a deal. Ended up a ghost rider. The caretaker explained. What does he have to do with this? Spike asked. Remember that contract the stranger made with the people of San Venganza? The story goes that Slade was sent there to collect all the souls. But what he found there was so evil that he took the contract and rode off. The caretaker answered. So in other words, he stole it? Twilight realized. Yes. He kept Mephistopheles from getting his hands on it. Some people say he was buried with it. He said. But was he? Applejack asked. I don't know. What I do know is that Blackheart is coming, and he'll do anything to get it. Also, the one called Celestia that he has isn't the only one who he kidnapped. He has someone else too. If he marries Celestia and takes her soul, she will forever be on the dark side and never return home. That's why it's important for you to stay away from friends and family, anybody he can use against you, because he will. The caretaker said, getting everyone's attention. Then suddenly Twilight remembered what Mephistopheles said when he took Johnny's soul, as the words echoed in her head. Forget about friends. Well, except the main six and Spike, since they need their princess. Forget about family. Forget about love. You're all mine, Johnny Blaze. Twilight snapped out of it and gasped. So that's why he made us not see Roxanne at dinner and killed his dad. He was trying to prevent Blackheart from kidnapping anyone else and threatening us to find the contract with their souls. Twilight realized. It all makes sense now. So Mephistopheles wasn't trying to kill us, he was trying to help us the whole time. Applejack agreed. Why didn't I see that coming? Rainbow asked. But wait. If what you sir said is true, then Roxanne could be in big trouble. And hold on. You said someone else was kidnapped. Who was it? Rarity asked. I don't know who. But if you wish to save them, then you must get to them before Blackheart does. The caretaker warned. The girls and Johnny nodded as they headed off to save Roxanne before it's too late. Back with Roxanne, she went back to Johnny's place and looked for him. But instead of finding him, she found Mac and scared the crap out of him. Sorry. Sorry. Roxanne said. Ma'am, you gave me a start. Mac replied. I'm looking for Johnny and the girls. Roxanne said. Yeah. You and me both. Mac added. Have you heard from them? Roxanne asked. No. But I heard they got in trouble. They got arrested, yeah. For what? Yeah, well, if this gets out in the press, his career is over. Mac answered. Trust me, his career is the least of it. Roxanne replied. You know, you seem like a nice lady, and you're pretty and all, but we were riding the gravy train on biscuit wheels, then you showed up, everything went to hell. So why don't you go back to wherever it is you came from? Mac frowned. I can't go back. Not now. Roxanne replied. Then tell me what the hell's going on. Mac yelled. You wouldn't believe me if I did. Look, you don't know me but I love him. As for the girls, they are my friends. So if there's anything you know that can help, anything. Roxanne started. He remembered something. Okay, lately, he's been reading these really weird books and they're messing with his mind. Then he's writing stuff down and staying up late. And he does it over here. You can go through the stuff, and I don't know if it means anything. Mac finished. But then the sun set and night came in. During that time Stuart was packing up and suddenly he faced Johnny and the gang. Where's Roxanne? Johnny asked. Dude. Where have you been? Everybody, Stuart said. We don't have a lot of time. Where is she? Spike interrupted. She's out looking for all of you. Stuart finished. Back with Roxanne and Mac, she was looking through the book he was reading and gasped, seeing the horror that lies inside. Jesus! She said softly. Not even close. A voice said. She gasped and saw Blackheart coming towards her as he turned Mac into a skeleton. He also carried Celestia as she continued to quake in fear. Roxanne saw her and then it came clear who she was. Wait. The girls said that they were trying to save someone. Wait. You're Celestia. The princess they were trying to save. Roxanne said. Yes. Please help me. Celestia cried. Shush up, you. As for you, Roxanne, you have his heart. Blackheart said as he touched her skin. I also took Shining's love. Now I'm gonna break it. Johnny and the girls finally made it back to his place and saw Roxanne laying on the ground and Mac's body. They immediately went to her, but then Blackheart attacked them and they saw Celestia and tried to get her, but Blackheart scared them and snatched her in his grasp. Let her go, you creep. Pinky yelled. No. You come any closer and she dies. And also, her too. Blackheart threatened. Wallow appeared and had Cadence in his grasp as she struggled trying to break free. The girls gasped seeing this. Cadence. You monster. You couldn't possibly go any lower than that. Twilight cried. Then Johnny turned into the Ghost Rider and grabbed him by the throat and doing his penance stare on him, but for some reason it wasn't working. Blackheart then chuckled. Your penance stare doesn't work on me. I have no soul to burn. I guess the caretaker forgot to mention that, huh? Surprise. He sent you to bring me back. I'm not going back. I like it here. Blackheart said. He then slammed him on the ground and Twilight blasted him with her magic as Johnny got up and recovered. But then Blackheart snatched her by the throat much to her horror and slammed her against the wall. You truly think you can defeat me? He asked menacingly. Do you think that you and your friends are better than me? I don't know who's more pathetic, you or him. Release her now, Dark Boy. And let the princesses go. Rainbow yelled. But Blackheart cast a spell on them, causing them to be chained on the wall, and turned back to Twilight. Now, listen to me. And try to get it through that thick skull of yours. You all don't work for my father anymore. You all now work for me. Blackheart started. We never work for an evil maniac like you. Rarity said. Shut up. Blackheart yelled demonic. Now Twilight. If you wish to see Celestia, Cadence, and Roxanne again, you will get the contract from the caretaker. Bring it to me in San Venganza and maybe I'll spare their lives and I'll consider invites to my wedding. And, Twilight, do not make me wait. If you do, then they will die. He then dropped her on the ground, released her friends, and the two left, taking the princesses with them as Celestia starting crying seeing her student injured. After they left, everyone recovered and were so worried now. What do we do? Blackheart now has Cadence and Celestia. If we don't hurry, he'll kill them. Fluttershy cried. Girls. We have no choice. If we are going to save them, then we need to get the contract. Twilight said. Are you crazy? We can't let that psycho marry Celestia. Rainbow replied. We won't. I have a plan. Let's head to the cemetery and get the contract. Twilight reasoned. So everyone decided it was time to get moving. There was no time to waste. Chapter 14, Riding to San Venganza. Johnny and the gang all rode in the night back to the cemetery, and surprisingly the caretaker was there. They wanted to ask why, but now was not a good time. I figured you be backbone heads. The caretaker said. Sir. Blackheart has Celestia and Cadence. Where's the contract? We can't end this madness without it? Twilight asked. But unfortunately he didn't answer. Looks like we're gonna have to dig this whole damn place up ourselves. Johnny said as he grabbed the shovel, but the caretaker stopped him. It's not there, kids. The caretaker said as he took the shovel and broke the top. He then pulled out the contract. It was in there all along. The contract of San Venganza. Hell on earth. Sir. You have to trust us. Applejack said. Why is that? He asked. Because if we don't get there with it, he will kill Celestia and Cadence. We will stop him, but you have to give us the contract. Spike explained. And he have my soul, but he doesn't have my spirit. Johnny added. The caretaker then smiled. Hear wise words. Any man who's got the guts to sell his soul for love got the power to change the world. You all didn't do it for greed. You all did it for the right reason. I can now see why you're called the elements of harmony. Maybe that puts God on your side. To him, that makes you all dangerous. Makes you unpredictable. That's the best thing you can be right now. San Venganza's 500 miles from here. We better get moving. We? Meaning you're joining us? Twilight asked. To answer her question, he whistled and out came a horse from the fog and he hopped on. I got one last ride in me, he said as he placed on his hat, and to everyone's surprise he became a ghost rider. You're Carter Slade. The first ghost rider from years ago. Twilight gasped. He nodded yes. Can you try and keep up? Spike asked. His horse got on fire and everyone smirked, knowing that he can keep up with them. Then they all prepared to ride again. All right, Carter. Let's ride. Rainbow said. Then Johnny and the girls turned into the Ghost Rider and the Sinister Six and rode in the heat of the night all the way to San Venganza. They all were riding for a long while till they finally reached San Venganza. And just like in the legend, all and every single inhabitant sold their own soul to Mephistopheles in exchange of something that led to their death. After all the population died via their exploited greed, Carter Slade, once an honorary Texas Ranger now reborn as a Ghost Rider, was sent to collect the contract of San Venganza, which contains all the damned souls of the townspeople. But feeling its power that so great as it will become hell on earth, he refused to give it to Mephistopheles and chose to hide it. He then gave it to Johnny and a gun and had a few words to say before he left. Stick to the shadows. And good luck. Carter said. Wait. Aren't you going to help us? You've been so helpful. Fluttershy asked. This is the end of the trail for me, Flutters. I got nothing left. I could only change one more time, and I was saving it for this. God knows I've made my share of mistakes. Been trying to make things right ever since. Guess all I can do now is hope that he sees fit to give me a second chance. Carter explained. Thank you, Carter. For everything. Applejack said. No. Thank you, kids. Now go save your princesses. And may God protect you at all times. Carter said as he rode off, leaving them to finish the job. All right, girls. Let's go. Twilight said as they headed off. Everyone headed into the town of San Venganza, and needless to say that it was completely a ghost town here. Ever since everyone gave their souls to the devil, it's been abandoned for thousands of years. And as they were coming through the water, they suddenly heard a bubbling sound. Then out came Wallow as he roared demonic at them, scaring the gang while holding Cadence in his grasp. "Hello kids. Looking for her? Blackheart is busy with his wedding, so I thought that I can play around with you." "Oh, and Cadence wanted in too," Wallow said. But Spike, being the hero of the Crystal Empire, chose to take a chance and came face to face with Wallow. "All right, you wet freak. Let Cadence go or I will make you," Spike threatened. "And how you gonna do that? You're just a baby lizard that can't do anything. Except being Twilight's bitch slave around her castle. And you can't even get a lover from the marshmallow pony," Wallow rudely said. That made his blood boil and he turned into the dragon of hell, and Wallow stared at him in terror. Spike then breathed a bunch of hellfire on Wallow as he began to turn into steam as he screamed in pain. Soon all of Wallow was completely turned into steam and he reverted back to normal, and Cadence cried happy tears and hugged Spike. "Oh, thank you Spike for saving me. I wasn't sure how longer I could be in here. And Twilight. I'm so happy that you and your friends are okay," Cadence said. "Us too. And now that we saved you, we still have one princess left to rescue." Twilight smiled. "Yes. Come on everyone. We must confront Blackheart, stop him and the wedding, and save Celestia. Come. There's no turning back now," Johnny ordered. Everyone nodded and got on the bikes, and with Cadence back she rode on Spike's bike, and together they rode to find Blackheart and hopefully stop him. The final battle is approaching, and we know that once they find him there is no turning back from any of this. Chapter 15: The Ghost Rider and Sinister Six vs. Blackheart. The gang rode deeper into the town of San Venganza, and when everyone looked around, everything, and I mean everything, was creepy looking and deserted. That is actually what happens when a town has been abandoned for thousands of years. Anyways, after riding for a while they stopped and got off the bike, seeing Blackheart, Celestia, and Roxanne in front of them. They gave him the angry looks and he chuckled. "Well. It seems you listened. And you're just in time. The wedding is about to start," Blackheart said. "We didn't come here for a wedding. We came here to get Celestia back from you. Your hidden demons are defeated and you have nowhere else to run," Rainbow said. "You're right. But if any of you change, they die," Blackheart replied. "Do it, Twilight. Stop him," Celestia said. Then Johnny took out the contract and Blackheart smirked. "Ah. So you did obey my command. Excellent. Now hand it over," Blackheart said. "Not so fast," Rarity said, which made him frown. "If you want the contract, then let Roxanne and the princess go first." "Fine. As you wish," Blackheart said as he threw them into an alley where they both got injured. "Now give me the contract." Johnny walked to him, and when Blackheart grabbed the contract, Johnny wouldn't let go. Then he changed into the Ghost Rider and the girls turned into the Sinister Six, and the battle began. They all tried attacking him and they got a few lucky hits, but Blackheart managed to outdo them. And when he was about to get the contract, Spike breathed fire and it hit him in the back as he groaned in pain. Then Ghost Rider picked up some flames off the ground and hit him in the face. But then they saw the sun rising and Blackheart chuckled. "It looks like you're all out of time. There's nothing you can do," Blackheart said. Ghost Rider took out his chain and gun while Applejack took out her rope. They tried lassoing him, but he grabbed them and threw them into the sunlight, causing them to revert to normal. The others saw them and needed to help them. Then Johnny saw the gun. So using all his strength he tried reaching for it. Meanwhile Blackheart grabbed the contract and began reading it. "This is the contract of San Venganza. All of you come to me," Blackheart shouted. Then suddenly all the souls of San Venganza came out and went into Blackheart's body, causing him to transform, and the girls were horrified seeing this. "Oh no. He called the souls and now he's powering up. What will we do? Twilight panicked. Nothing at the moment. Blackheart said as the girls turned to face him. He was now black-skinned and has hellish red eyes. My name is Legion, for we are many. And now Celestia. You shall become my demon queen for the rest of eternity. He said. Twilight. We have to get out of here. Cadence said. No. Cadence, you get Roxanne and go find somewhere. We have to finish this. Johnny. Girls. Let's send this fucker back to hell. Twilight said, determined. I like the sound of that. Let's get him. Rainbow shouted. Yeah. It was always been that day since I made the deal. We're the only ones that can walk in both worlds. And now we end this. Johnny agreed. So together they prepared to fight him again. Johnny grabbed the gun and shot him multiple times. The girls all threw their magic at him too and tried getting him in the shadows. Rainbow threw some fire at him and got him in the face. Come on and fight, you son of a bitch. Rainbow shouted. But Blackheart pushed them through the door and they all grunted in pain. Then Blackheart loomed over them and chuckled. Did you really think that you puny ponies can stop me? Soon this world and Equestria, along with all their souls, will be mine now. Blackheart said. Then suddenly someone shot him and looked and saw Roxanne shooting him, and Celestia used her magic to blast his head off. But it grew back. Johnny. Catch. Roxanne shouted. Johnny caught it and it became an enchanted gun of hell, and with one blast exploded him into a million pieces. But that didn't last long, as the pieces began to reassemble back into Blackheart, making him whole again. Nice try. But with all their souls I'm immortal. So therefore I cannot be vanquished. Now Celestia, enough of this crap. Let's be married and become the rulers. Blackheart replied. Never. In fact, you forget about one thing, Blackheart. Celestia said. And what's that? Blackheart asked. That the Ghost Rider has now a way to use his penance stare on you. Johnny. Celestia answered. He nodded and went to him. How does it feel to have all that evil inside of you? All their power? Johnny asked as he turned into Ghost Rider and grabbed him by the neck. All their souls. 1,000 souls to burn. Look into my eyes. Your souls are stained by the blood of the innocent. Now you will feel their pain. Ghost Rider said. No. No. Blackheart shouted. Soon the penance stare actually worked this time, as it made him feel all the pain in his victims and burn all the souls in him. Thus it caused his eyes to burn and Ghost Rider threw his lifeless body away. Blackheart was defeated and he will never harm another innocent soul again. Celestia cried tears of joy as she slowly went to the Ghost Rider. Monster. Ghost Rider said. I'm not afraid. You were willing to use that curse to help Twilight and the others to save me. To me those are not the actions of a monster. I'm truly grateful to you. Celestia said. She placed a hoof on his face as it turned back into Johnny. Then to his surprise she kissed him on the lips and hugged him as she cried softly. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for freeing me from this nightmare. And Twilight. Thank you for coming to my rescue. Celestia smiled. Anytime, princess. And Luna will be happy to see you again. Twilight said. Twilight. You were right all along. And I'm so sorry for not believing you earlier. From here on out I will understand every word you say. But I think we need a long break after all this chaos. Roxanne replied. I agree. Why don't you come to Equestria and start a new life? Spike offered. You know what? I would like that. And Johnny? You and me are gonna have a good time there. Away from that Blackheart creep. Roxanne replied. Well, we couldn't let Blackheart win. Now that we stopped him, it's all over. Twilight said in relief. Indeed. Congratulations, guys. You upheld your end of the bargain. Everyone turned seeing Mephistopheles standing there as he walked in. It's time I take back the power of the Ghost Rider. You get your life back. Perhaps start a family. And Celestia? Glad to see you safe and sound. And as I promised, I will grant you a way home. You earned it. As for me, I have more deals to make. More people willing to give their souls for what they desire. Let someone else carry the curse. After all, a deal is a deal. Mephistopheles opened a portal and the main six, Spike, Cadence and Celestia, all went in one by one. Till Johnny and Roxanne were the only ones left. Johnny was about to give away his power, but then he realized something. If he can use it to stop Blackheart, then who's to say that he can use it for the greater good? No. I'm gonna own this curse and I'm gonna use it against you. Whenever innocent blood is spilled, it'll be my father's blood and you'll find me there. A spirit of vengeance, fighting fire with fire. Johnny replied. Mephistopheles frowned hearing that. I will make you pay for this. But considering I heard that you are gonna live in Equestria, I have no reason to. But hear this. Whenever another being from hell escapes, I will come. But till then you're free. And you can't live in fear. Johnny finished. So the two entered the portal, and when it closed, the devil slammed his cane and disappeared. Even the dead body of Blackheart disappeared too. But one thing is certain. The son of the devil is no more, and the universe is safe from internal darkness. Chapter 16. A new live for Johnny and Roxanne. The portal reopened back to Equestria, as the main six, Spike, Celestia, Cadence, Johnny and Roxanne emerged. Once the portal closed, they were all instantly so happy to see back home. And when Luna saw Celestia, she instantly ran to her sister and gave her a big hug and cried, "Sister! I'm so happy to see you again. I thought you didn't return." Luna cried. "Me too, sister. But thankfully this man Johnny Blaze came to my rescue. And I am truly grateful for his deed. Also, I noticed him as the Ghost Rider. A spirit of vengeance that only attacks sinners. To me he deserves a chance for a new life here." Celestia smiled. "Thank you, Celestia, but I don't think it's necessary." Johnny said. "Nonsense. You saved me, so I insist. And since you upgraded the elements of harmony with the hellfire, I hereby make you and the main six my personal spirits of vengeance. And you and Roxanne can live here with me and Luna." "You earned it," Celestia said. "That's really generous of you, Celestia. We accept your offer." "Thank you," Roxanne replied. "You're welcome. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to go lay down. I've been living in a nightmare for a long time and I need to rest," Celestia replied. Everyone nodded and accepted her decision as she went to her room, and Luna came to him and smiled with Roxanne next to him. "Johnny Blaze, I simply cannot thank you enough for saving my dear sister. And girls, thank you for letting Johnny and Roxanne live here where they can now have a fresh start." Luna smiled. "Anytime, Luna. And we're all glad to have Celestia back. Safe and sound. And now that we have her back, we can now discuss the importance of the Stargaze Festival." Twilight smiled. "Yes. The Stargaze Festival. And we'll be inviting Johnny and Roxanne to come and see them. Since they need this relaxation more than anyone." Luna agreed. "For real. I simply cannot deal with another demon attacking us. Especially if Blackheart sent him or her after us. Johnny dealt with that long enough." Rarity said. "Definitely. And I seriously hope that Blackheart stays in the afterlife where he belongs. Because he really is a demon." Spike added. "And he should stay in the underworld where he belongs." Rainbow finished. Girls. That's enough talk about Blackheart. He's gone. Celestia is back and resting now. Johnny and Roxanne came for a new start. So let's focus on that," Luna replied. Everyone all agreed and decided to stop talking about Blackheart and actually prepare for the Stargaze festival as we zoom out to see the Canterlot castle and the sun setting to end another day. And thus, my friends, ends the story of how the main Six and Spike went to save Celestia from the clutches of the evil Blackheart. With the help of Johnny Blaze aka the Ghost Rider. The end.